Hello, my darlings. You are so very, very welcome to the Power Podcast for spiritual business owners, light workers everywhere. I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome you here today. I hope you've been enjoying all of the podcast episodes that we've released so far. It's been an absolute joy to create this library of calls and materials for you of podcast episodes. So I hope you're enjoying it. Please do comment wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're watching it, join in the conversation. Tell me what you think, any ideas, any questions that you have, and make sure that you share this with anybody that you think could benefit from whatever messages come through for us during these podcasts. So this is a solo episode, just me today, and I wanted to talk about mental health. I wanted to talk about minding your mental health. And yeah, I wanted to just look at tips and tools that I use to manage my energy, to take care of myself. Haven't been somebody that suffered or experience was challenged with anxiety for most of my life, low confidence and panic attacks. And yeah, so I just thought it might be useful to share my experience. I want to be part of an open conversation about this, take out any shame, guilt, fear, you know, just take that all away and just let these stories of normal people experiencing mental health issues. And hopefully by sharing my little story, I might support you in some way in your life. So my name is Aisling Mooney. This is the Power Podcast. Make sure that you've subscribed. Go to aislingmooney.com/podcast and sign up so that you never miss an episode. Tuesday and Thursday, we drop a new episode every single week. And there'll be some free goodies there as well when you sign up. So let's dive right in, my darlings. So I wanted to just maybe just kick off with a few years ago. I can't remember, maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, I was stuck, embedded in my spiritual business. I was doing a lot of hustling, and I had 4 consecutive launches in 4 months, which for any of you that have launched before in your business, you know what a toll that it can take if you don't do it correctly. And I was doing it on my own. I didn't have any team at the time. And I just kept launching and launching and launching and putting myself through. There's a whole roller coaster and ups and downs of launches. If you want me to do a whole episode on launch, I'd be happy to do that. Any questions you have around that, pop them in the comments. But there is a whole roller coaster depending on what type of launch that you go for. You can go for a simple launch, but me being me, I just really went all out. I want to be generous. I want to give. And it just wasn't in a sustainable way. And the end of that was burnout, was literally burnout. So the last launch I enrolled people in a new program that I had at that time, and literally burnt myself out to where I started to have panic attacks when I went on a live video. Couldn't, just literally all full blown out panic attack. And for anyone that has experienced a panic attack, it feels like you're having a heart attack. When I later on went through perimenopause and menopause, I started to have them again, but I realized that they were connected with this hormonal issue. So for anyone experiencing that season of life and sort of a hot flush is very similar to what I was experiencing as panic attacks, except you have the beating heart, sweaty palms, and I was just fear, all these emotions, complete self-doubt, and just not wanting to be visible and just wanted to stay at home and get into bed. And making it sound simple, but it got to the stage for me that I literally couldn't turn on a computer or I would start to have a full-blown panic attack. And I became extremely sensitive during that time. And for me, I had to just take a full step back into my business. Luckily, I had 2 amazing clients, students that had taken all of my programs and that I trusted and loved and knew that they would do a good job. And I handed over 2 of my main programs, one to each of them. And they hosted those programs for me in a 6 to 8 week period. They hosted the live classes, they managed the Facebook group, they just did all of the work for me. And I just took 8 weeks out of supreme rest, no computer. The only thing that I did was listen to my own meditations during that time. I listened to the Transform Angels course, which is a 12-week program to meet 12 different archangels. I listened to that on repeat, those meditations. That was the only thing that I consumed during that time. Everything else just sent me into a tizzy and left me in overwhelm and brought on this panic attacks. And I slowly and surely recovered my energy. Lots of water, lots of nature, and listening to these meditations on repeat. And thankfully, I came out of it. I went to the doctor and she gave me some, surprisingly enough, I'm in Italy. I live in Italy. I'm Irish, but I live in Italy. And she prescribed a homeopathic remedy. So I didn't take any drugs because the doctor didn't subscribe them. I took a homeopathic remedy, and I cannot remember the name of it, but it's something Ansio or something like that for anxious. So literally a homeopathic remedy for anxiety. And I took that, and that I think it was valerium in it, and I took that as well. And I took my backflow remedies, which I always take. I've been a lifelong backflow remedy practitioner. I studied all the levels, and I use them for more than 20 years, 30 years now. So they're part and parcel. So my angel work, my backflow remedies, going to the doctor, and just doing, I didn't even want to have a healing session. I didn't even want anybody else's hands on my energy. I just wanted to just recover my energy, and that's what I did. And after that, when I got back to work, was able to fully recover and get back to work, I began to set some things in place. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today, is the tools that I use regularly now to keep me from burning out, to keep me from reaching that high state of anxiety and panic attacks, and the warning symptoms, so that I know now when I'm heading there, because I do have a tendency to overwork. I love my work and I have a tendency to give 300%, and it's just part of my nature. So I do have to recognize the warning signs that go off and remind me, pull back in, time for a rest, cancel some appointments, Aisling. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to back out of something. It's okay to say no. Questioning the anxiety, questioning where it's coming from, taking a day off, binge watching TV if that's what I need, or going out for a whole day out in nature, or just changing scenery. Sometimes that works for me. Just literally changing scenery for the day. So getting outside, taking a day trip into Milan or by the lakes or whatever. So there's a few things I want to talk about that I would do regularly. And some of them are to do with my schedule, and some of them are just things that I've always done, and I would just do them more regularly when I'm hitting the stage of burnout. So one of the things I do is meditation. Now, there was a period in my life when I meditated regularly every single day for a set amount of time. I don't do that now so regularly. My meditation is more a walking and movement meditation. I'm in that season of life where I just need to move my body. So for me, my meditation practice is part of my yoga practice. So I signed up to do a year of yoga recently, and that has been an amazing part of my spiritual practice, moving my body, using my body as a meditation tool. And in the meantime, stretching and becoming more flexible and becoming stronger. So, it's a 2-for-1 there. But then at the beginning and the end of this particular meditation practice that I do with my teacher, Grania, any links, I will post them down in the comments, anything that I mention in the description. So you'll be, or ask me if you can't find them. Grania O'Kane is my teacher. So she usually does a little bit of a sort of a meditation, maybe gratitude exercise at the beginning, and then some meditation at the end. So that's my practice at the moment, where I use meditation. And then occasionally I host a meditation and I'm experiencing that for myself. Or if I'm going through something in particular, let's say my energy is just feeling a bit clogged or a bit overloaded, other people's energies, or, you know, if I'm in the middle of a launch or there's too much going on, I'll do cutting off the ties meditation. I have one of them I have a couple of those meditations that I've recorded in the Transform with Angels courses and my other angel courses. So I'll do cutting the ties, and I'll usually work with Michael just for strength, courage, confidence, and protection. And I work with Raphael for just deep healing on all levels. And it's also protective energy that comes with Raphael. So, and Gabriel as well for inner child healing. And just a second thing that I want to talk about. So that's sort of meditation. Then there's journaling. So I write all the time. This part of my nature. I plan a lot. I get my thoughts out on paper. So it's a very easy thing for me. I'm never without a notepad and a pen. I rarely leave the house without some sort of big bag that I can put a notebook and a pen. If I'm going on a day trip anywhere, I bring a pen and notebook, and I'm working, thinking, writing down. So for me, it's a very easy, it's not for everybody, but for me, it's very easy to write. And there have been many, many occasions in my life where my head has been too full and I haven't been able to see the wood for the trees. I can't make a decision for whatever reason. And in that sort of state, one of my favorite tools is to write a letter to my angels and to receive a reply. So I'll usually sit down, a nice pen and paper, maybe light a candle, maybe pick an angel card just to set the tone. And then I will write, "Dear angels, this SHIT is happening. I don't know what to do. I'm looking for a solution. I feel like this about angry, sad, upset, guilty, worried, whatever. And I really want to feel better about it. I want a solution. I want to be in a better place, whatever. It's good to name the transformation that you want to achieve." So writing down and asking a question. And then I say, "Dear Aisling," so you can write your name, "Dear Mary, Maura, Liz, Karen, Sharon, Michelle," whatever your name is, you can insert your name, dear, whatever your name is. And then just write whatever comes to mind. "Dear Aisling, sorry to hear you're feeling like that. We actually know all about it. And this is what I'm going to suggest." And just write and write and write until there's nothing else left to say. And often when I'm writing, in that case, it can sound like gobbledygook, absolute rubbish that's coming onto the page. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes it goes into sort of channeled, so I'm only half aware of what's being written. And sometimes I'm fully aware and I'm like, this is absolute rubbish. But just keep writing without judgment, without even reflecting on what you're writing, until there's nothing else to say. And you might have more questions then to ask. So whatever's been, you might have, but what about this issue? But if I do that, this is still a problem, or whatever. Or how am I going to resolve this? Whatever the extra questions are, just write them the same way and allow your angels to respond to you, just using, just write a response to yourself. And often it looks like rubbish, but when I read it back, when I take a breath, maybe even take a break, go and have a cup of tea, come back with your mug of tea and read it again, it's surprising how much sense it can make. And sometimes I'll even leave it for a few days and come back and read the message and be like, oh my God, that's such good advice. That's exactly what I need to hear. And sometimes by asking, by getting your reply, even if you haven't quite processed it, somewhere in the background, your angels are working on miracles And somehow or other, if you come revisit that letter, that letter to your angels, a few days or a week or whatever afterwards, you'll be like, oh my God, that issue isn't an issue anymore. Somehow it has resolved itself. Somehow you feel better about it. Somehow you've healed the emotional triggers around it, or somehow you have expanded and opened your mind. You've said sorry, somebody else had said sorry. Forgiveness has come about, or you just don't feel as triggered. It's somehow healed. And maybe you haven't even intentionally gone and gotten some healing. So that's a really good exercise that I do over and over again, especially when my mind, I just need to get something out and I need some outside perspective. And maybe I don't want to talk to anybody else about it, or, I haven't got somebody that I want to share that particular thing with. So that is a really good exercise to use. I would love you to use it and post in the comments and let me know. Just, you don't have to share any intimate details or anything, but you can just give me a general, does this work for you? Well, what did you find that came through? I'd love to hear how your angels supported you through this. And if it doesn't work for you the first time, don't give up. Try again, try again. Sometimes when we're first getting to meet our angels, it can seem a little bit clumpy. It can take us time. It's like anything. You wouldn't get into a car and expect to know how to drive it straight away. You'd practice and practice and practice. And then some way or other, it would become second nature and natural. So I would say to you, keep trying, and it's a really and maybe take the pressure out of it. There's no right or wrong way, and you're never going to have to show this to anybody. So it's between you and your angels. So that's the second thing. So meditation, journaling, any sort of journaling, or this letter to your angels idea. Movement, I've sort of covered that with the yoga, but any sort of movement, especially if you're stuck in a funky energy, stucky, paralyzed, indecisive, procrastinating, overdoing something. I find movement, some sort of movement. It could be as simple as putting on your favorite song and just bopping around the kitchen or the sitting room, or putting your earphones in and getting out and going for a walk in nature, or having no earphones, drop all the technology and just go for a walk in a really beautiful place nearby in nature. Often I walk in a place in nature and I literally call on my angels to walk beside me. Hey, guys, whoever angel I want to work with, or just angels in general, or my guardian angel, hey, walk beside me. There's something I want to talk about, think about, and or just walk beside me and just be there and let me feel your presence and your love, and let me just clear and release whatever the procrastination, whatever the resistance is to moving forward, whether it's a project or whatever. So walking, moving, cycling, yoga, swimming, dancing, Pilates, going to the gym, whatever movement you can do to literally physically move your body, you will see some results. In particular, if you set the intention that this is going to shake things up, get you moving again, and, set a timer or give it, right, I'm just going to go for 30 minutes, going to hop on the treadmill for 30 minutes if it's raining, or I'm going to go for a walk in nature for 30 minutes. And I'm setting the intention that my attitude and my vibration and everything is going to be changed. And you're guaranteed that, especially if you go to a beautiful place in nature that you recognize as beautiful. So if you're walking around in nature and you're looking at the trees, really noticing, looking and listening to the amount of birds that are in the air, even in a housing estate, or definitely a park or any sort of nature area, but the amount of life that surrounds us in birds, trees, plants, animals, cats, dogs, insects, snails. There's turtles down the road here. I go for a walk and say hello to all the animals and dogs and cats, and there's 4 turtles and 2 turtles and 2 turtles in 2 different destinations. I often go and say hello to them. They're in hibernation now when I'm recording this. So going out and just connecting with the nature that's around you. I heard years ago Abraham, Esther Hicks talking, channeling the entity Abraham, and she said, "Thank God for the beings, the conscious beings that are on your planet right now. For all of us unconscious humans, or the unconscious moments that we have in our lives, there are these beings that are completely conscious 100% of the time." And she said, "Thank God for that squirrel. Thank God for that cat. Thank God for that dog. Thank God for that bird." They are the conscious beings keeping this planet, keeping our vibration high. And they are pure love, pure in the moment, fully present masters on our path. The tree and the flower and the plant and the rose that you fall in love with as you walk by, or the cherry blossom. They all have this, are connected, deeply connected to source energy. And by us recognizing them, we can tune into that vibration of love, that vibration of becoming enlightened, becoming present in the present moment in our lives. So yeah, moving your body, getting out into nature combines to, I suppose they're separate, but I often use them together. I suppose you could also go out into nature and just relax, sit by a lake and just receive. It doesn't have to be a movement, so maybe they are separate. But I love a walking meditation, or I love just literally moving my body to move my mind, to move myself into a healthy state of mind. And let me see, is there anything else? Oh, another thing that I do all the time is my backflow remedies. I just take them all the time. There's probably a rare day that I don't take a backflow remedy. They're the Bach flowers. Dr. Bach produced these 38 remedies, and they're for every sort of mood or feeling or emotion. Then they are transformational and bring you back from a negative into a positive state. And I've used them very closely for nearly 30 years. So I would use them. And I'm sure that you can find a practitioner near you, or you can get some more information online about that. I don't teach about that particular modality, but it's something that I recommend and I use every other day. And the final thing is tapping. Tapping is something that I do. I've only really started it maybe consistently in the last maybe 5 or 6 years. One of my friends, Melanie Moore, if you go to her YouTube channel, has a full library of free tapping videos for everything. Tapping to release anxiety, tapping for happiness, tapping for a miracle, tapping for a new house, tapping for exams, tapping to relieve migraine. A whole library there of tapping videos. So, and I don't follow any sort of formula for tapping when I'm doing it on my own. I will just sort of tune in and I'll talk out the negative, is the way I look at it physically in my mind. I'm talking out the negative and I'm talking in the positive. So it would be like I'm tapping the side of my hand. There's different tapping points. There's hand, there's head, there's forehead over one of the eyes, there's below the eyes. I think that's one. There's one beneath the nose, one beneath the mouth on the chin, one on the chest, the collarbone, and then underneath the arms, and then back on the karate point there on your hand. So I would go through these and I am tapping out the negative. So I go, even though feeling very anxious right now, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how I'm going to go to this party and be with all of those people I deeply and completely love and approve of myself. Even though this is bringing up so much anxiety for me now, and I really just want to stay at home and curl into bed, but I know I need to go. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And just, I will be talking through all of the negative stuff that's coming up for me. What if I have a panic attack when I'm at that in the middle of the night? What if I'm say something stupid? What if I have to leave early and I can't stay? And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I just talk it out. Like I'm making this up, and you're not going to learn tapping from me. So this is just my formula, and it's absolute ad hoc. It's raw, like me, like this podcast, no editing. But I'm definitely not the expert. So go and find an expert that can teach you about this. So I'm just giving you an example of what I would do is just get the words out, talk out the emotions or whatever it is that's coming up, whatever the thoughts are that's blocking me. And I just keep tapping through the points until I've said everything that's bothering me out into the world. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And I deeply and completely love and approve of myself. And I deeply and completely love and forgive myself. And I'll probably do a check-in at that stage and just maybe take a deep breath and maybe just check in to see if there's anything else that's there that needs to be released. And if there is, I'll do another round and I'll just talk out whatever needs to be released. But when I'm at a good state, and I might even do a measure at the beginning, at the end, where is the anxiety now on a 0 to 10? And then where is it after that first 1 or 2 rounds of tapping? And if it's moving down, which is good for where I want to be, I might start tapping in some good stuff. So I'll say, even though I'm not sure about this, the last time I went, I had a good time. I really want to see these people. It's probably going to do me good just to get out of the house. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And it doesn't matter what I say. Most people are thinking about themselves anyway, so they won't even remember what I say if I say something wrong. And I deeply and completely love and forgive myself. I'm going to go there with the best intentions. I'm going to just have some fun. I'm going to try and bring some light into the room as well. And I'm going to try and enjoy myself. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And so on. And that's it. So tap out the negative, tap in the positive. And that's something that I use. I use it with myself. I use it with my kids when they're having issues that maybe they just don't want to, it's an easy way for us to share what's going on for them and for me to tap in to share some good positive affirmations or reframes with them. So there are some things that I do. I do want to say that menopause, for any of you that are in that season of life, can bring up a lot of mainly mental health issues that we may have suffered in the past, can bring them up sort of full force. And it might be hormonal. It could also be that this is a moment in life where we're reflecting, we're looking back, we're evaluating, we're really looking at where we're spending our energy, because a lot of our energy in this time it goes to maintaining our health. This is my experience and from what I've seen with other women in my circles, that it's a time of evaluation, reflection, and really looking at, okay, where's my time going? And where can I put some healthier boundaries? And where can I pour in some of that energy that I'm giving out back into myself? So it becomes a path, an extreme path of self-care. That's been my experience of this season. And it really, everything simplifies, and the BS just begins to drop away in your life and your standards go up. And I notice for me anyway, I have just risen to the top of my priorities, where for the rest of my whole life I was probably at the bottom. Kids, family, work, every other obligation and whatever came up. And I just feel myself rising to the top. And that's not an easy transition to go through, especially if you're an empath, an empathic person, sensitive person, and you have a desire to help and heal and be generous with your time and your energy. It can be a big wake-up call to get to this time in your life and realize that you need to take care of your health if you want to have a long and beautiful life for the rest of your time on this planet. So I noticed that for me, the anxiety increased when I stepped into this period of life, and I really needed to learn all over again some new techniques. Obviously, go to your doctor, get your blood tests, take whatever you need to take or test it out, whether that's medicine or herbal medicine or whatever it is, homeopathic flower remedies, whatever, natural and alternative and traditional, whatever your mix is, vitamins, whatever. But I really think that we can, our symptoms can come back up in this season of life, and it's a wonderful opportunity for us to reevaluate again and create new paths of wellness for ourselves and for our family. So, what else? Anything else on my list that I wanted to talk about? Oh, there is a few things. So there's a book, and I cannot remember the author's name, and I should have really done my due diligence and gone and found out before I came on. But I will post it in the description in the comments. There is a book called Rest, R-E-S-T, and it's a blue cover, and there's a deck chair on the front of it. And that book was life-changing in terms of giving me permission to rest and relax and recuperate and ultimate self-care. And so I highly recommend that book. The other things that I do, and I did want to mention this, I have some routines. Doesn't happen all the time, but I try my best to stop technology about 9 o'clock. So phone goes out. I usually am either watching TV with my husband, with my kid, or I'm heading to bed between 9 and 9:30. Heading to my bedroom, doing all my toiletry things, taking off makeup, whatever, getting myself into my PJs, getting the bed cozy. And then I read a book. And I'm an avid reader, but I mostly read business books, self-help books, and books that are that I'm learning. But I try not to do that in the evenings. In the evenings, I just read simple, easy romance stories, like just a fiction, fiction, maybe a biography, but even that's I have to think about things. Maybe I do love historical biographies, but I will most likely just I have a pile of, I have just a simple fiction book. So Marion Keyes, I love, Maeve Binchy, I love, so that sort of genre. I can't even think of any other authors. I read these books, I don't even remember the names of the title of the book or the person that wrote them by the end of it. I just literally read them to unwind. They're simple stories I don't have to think about. I probably know what the ending is. But they might be a bit fun, but they're mostly just to relax and unwind and just give my mind a story to hang on while I'm resting, and no technology. So the phone goes outside the bedroom, no computers, no technology in the bedroom at night. And I will just read before bed. I said, it's not every night. Occasionally, my husband and my son are watching football on the TV, and me and my daughter will decide to watch something on Netflix, and I'll have the laptop on the bed, and we'll be sitting on the bed watching something that we enjoy. So, every rule is there to support you, and every rule is meant to be broken if you, need, do what you need to do what works for you. You need to figure out what your plan is. And I would love to hear in the comments, wherever you're watching this video, of what you do, what works for you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing in any way, shape, or form. If you are experiencing anxiety, panic attacks, depression, or any mental health issues, please go and see your doctor first. Go and see your doctor first. Get some sort of a diagnosis. Most doctors are amazing now. It's not like it was 20, 30 years ago. Most of them have a bit more awareness. Mental health is an issue that we're speaking about more openly. So it's not just generally take a pill and that's it. There's a bit of a bigger conversation. Most doctors will recommend a counselor, which is the last point that I sort of want to talk about before I go on to one other thing that I think is important. Your doctor will, most doctors will give you a counselor. So what I wanted to say is get your dream team, your healing team there in place. So have a good doctor that you can go to, have a good healer that you can go that can help you, with some healing sessions, or whether that's acupuncture, IET, Reiki, reflexology, massage, whatever it is that you love to do. Go and find somebody good in your area that you can reach out to when you need a recharge, when you need a top up, sign up for a few sessions. Find a group that does meditation. Go and take a course on mindfulness. Or find someone that's, a cacao ceremony or a women's group, a moon circle or something like that. Find some group that we cannot underestimate. I don't know for how many years I have heard from my live programs in particular, when I used to teach a lot of personal development classes. And once I taught a course called Simple Success for Women, and it was a 6-week course. It was part of my thesis. I did it 3 times. And the question of the thesis was, does NLP make you happy? I was studying NLP at the time. So I was interested in using these NLP techniques across these 6 weeks with this group and asking them, did they contribute to their happiness in some way? I did a survey before, a survey afterwards. The top thing that came through wasn't Aisling is great, or the techniques are great, or the center is lovely, or the food is good, or anything. It was the community came out top of the list of reasons that people enjoyed the program, that people kept coming every week, that they participated in the exercise because they had found a new group of friends, felt safe in that community. And so we cannot underestimate the importance of having people around us that we can talk to when we need to, and that can support us when we need it. So make sure that you have some group or community, and if you're not in one, go and find one in your area, or if you can't find one in your area, get one online. Worst case scenario, my clients have so many groups and communities that are all happening online that you can access from anywhere in the world. A meditation course, cacao, angels, meditations, whatever. It's all there for you. So no excuses, find something. And, get your dream team in place. Get a counselor. If you have deep stuff that you haven't looked at in your life, and even if you have looked at it and you have done some work, there's always going to be periods and seasons in our life where we have to go back. And these conversations that you'll have with your counselor are not things that you can have with your loved ones, often family and friends. Sometimes it's good to go and have that counselor on hand that you can, I'm having this issue at the moment, a relationship issue, health issue, stress issue, whatever it is, and talk it through with a counselor that you trust. So it's well worth building a relationship with a counselor that you can connect with throughout your life when you need them. And yeah, so, getting your dream team in place. So on my dream team at the moment is my coach, is my, that I can talk to about business, because business and personal, they sometimes intermingle. My mastermind buddies, a group of friends that get my business journey. I have a yoga teacher that I can reach out to. I have a gym instructor that I can reach out to. I have I'm trying to think what else. And I have a pack of like courses and training, meditations, relaxation. I'm actually looking at joining a mindfulness group on Saturday mornings here in Italy for 6 or 10 weeks, just to refine that again. So, it's about making sure that you have your team. So create your team around you, around what you need, whether that's a counselor, a healer, therapist, whatever. I was going to say I have a client of mine that I have hired, and she helps me with gut health. So that's, making sure that I'm eating properly to have the best mental health situation going on, especially for the season of life that I'm in. And what else did I want to say? Oh, the final thing, and this is for you. If you're experiencing long-term mental health issues, if it's just not going away. And from my experience of mental health and looking at it for myself and maybe family members that might have been experiencing this, it can look like irritability. It can look like impatience. It can look like anger. It can look like bitterness that is prolonged and just doesn't seem to lift. An ennui, disappointment with life, despondency, that if left unquestioned or unsupported, can become despair and then deep despair. And, if we let ourselves go into a chronic state, it could lead to suicidal thoughts. If you are experiencing anywhere in your life suicidal thoughts, please go and reach out to your doctor immediately. Reach out to a friend or a family member immediately. Reach out to somebody and ask for help. Tell them how you're feeling. Tell them the thoughts that you're having, and tell them that you need help. You don't have to know how the help is going to come. You don't have to know how to resolve this. But if you're having any of these experiences or long-term thoughts, please go and get some help. And finally, I want a lot of my listeners here on the listeners to the Power Podcast are spiritual business owners. We're healers, we're light workers, we're working with energy and vibration. We need to take care of ourselves and our own energy. We need to take our own medicine. And I also would love you to get some training to help you to support your clients, to help you to spot mental health issues when despair can become depression, where, to help you to spot suicidal tendencies. What I would really love you to do is to get some sort of training so that you can spot it and you can address it. You can inquire over your client's well-being and you can direct them into a place where they can get the help and support that they need. Sometimes when people come for healing, it can be the first time that they have accepted that there's an issue and that they can open up about that. So it's really, really important for you to have the tools and the training or the understanding so that you can assist your client. And in Ireland, there is a program called Assist, literally, and anybody can go and book this training. If you're working within an organization, they could even pay for it. So you might get it paid for, depending on the where you work at the moment. Or you can pay for this yourself. But I think as an individual, it's you can get scholarships and discounts. But it's a really good training, and I think it's over 1 or 2 days. I can't remember. I did it years ago, and it just helps you to recognize warning symptoms or warning bells, and also gives you the wording and the language and the reassurance to be able to question and to ask and to direct and lead somebody that might be having an issue. And this could be a client, but it could also be somebody in your own personal life, or it could also be yourself. And when it's not all hunky-dory in the garden for us either, all the time. So it's a very useful piece of training that can assist you, your clients and your family members and everybody in your life. And I'm sure that there are equivalent trainings in the UK, in the US, in all different parts of Europe and the world, probably called something else, but I'm sure there are organizations that will provide training for you as a counselor, as a teacher, as a leader, as a healer. And I really strongly encourage you to add that to your toolbox to give you just that extra layer of protection, and also be able to protect and support your clients and your family and yourself. So what an interesting episode. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was useful on so many levels. It was interesting for me just to think through all of this stuff and decide to share it with you. So I hope it was useful. Please share this podcast with anybody that you think would find it useful, and especially light workers and those of us, that need the support, need to develop some tools to help ourselves, and then also come across people that need our help and support all the time in our lives and in our sessions and in our communities. And yeah, make sure that you subscribe. Go to ashlingmooney.com/podcast. Sign up there and you never will miss an episode. Every Tuesday and Thursday we drop a new one. And if you want to go deeper with me, you want to work with me, you want to bring your spiritual business on to another level, you want the support, you want the community, the clarity, the coaching, the curriculum, then definitely consider joining Power. ashlingmooney.com/power. All of the details are there. We would be thrilled, beyond thrilled, to have you as part of our community and be thrilled to support you in your spiritual business journey. Have a fantastic day, week. Until next time, loads and loads of love wherever you are in the world and listening to this. Love yous. Bye bye. Bye bye, my darling.